series on jungle justice in Nigeria, and of course, the collapse of the rule of law in this country. Today, we're looking at it from the prism of civil society and human rights. What must be done that we have left undone for so many years? Um, we're examining the occurrence and persistence of jungle justice in the country today because it is a practice that has continued to claim lives, violate fundamental rights, and expose deep failures in our justice and security institutions. For those who do not know, jungle justice strips individuals of their most basic rights, the right to life, which directly violates Section 33, subsection 1 of the Nigerian Constitution, which guarantees that no person shall be intentionally deprived of life except through the execution of a court sentence after due process. Yet, across Nigeria, people are beaten, they're being lynched, in some cases burned alive on mere suspicion of crimes such as theft or kidnapping, without investigation, without trial, and often without evidence. What is particularly troubling is that many of these incidents go unnoticed or underreported because jungle justice has reportedly gradually blended into national narrative as an informal way of getting justice. What once used to be seen as a shocking incident has become just, familiar. Just recently here in Lagos, it took the intervention of the Lagos state government to stop the continuous lynching of just ordinary people. And so today I'm being joined by two gentlemen who I really appreciate them for joining us at such short notice to be part of this conversation. And I'm so glad that it is of importance to them as it is of importance to me and you. I'd like to introduce them quickly before we go into this conversation, but I'd like to let you know that many victims of these jungle justice half the time are later being discovered to be innocent. So what do we do to put an end to it? We're interrogating the failure of the state. We're going to be interrogating public distrust and the erosion of the rule of law. And so joining me live via Zoom, let me properly introduce my guests because they were very nice and kind to me today to say yes. Obinna Nwagbara is the Executive Director, Youth and Student Advocate for Development Initiative, YSAD, and he joins us live via Zoom. Obinna, thank you so much for joining us, and I really appreciate you saying yes, even though you know you're at an event. Thank you. I also want to introduce Salaudeen Hashim. He is the Program Director of Clean Foundation, and he joins us graciously again today via Zoom. Salaudeen, thank you so much for joining us, and it's a pleasure to have you on Hard Facts.
Thank you very much for having me.
Lovely. Let me start with you, Obinna, because I know that you have to rush back to events that you are attending. From your perspective, what does the persistence of this jungle justice tell us about the state of law enforcement and justice administration in Nigeria? As many people will put it, is it a total failure of our law and of law and order in Nigeria? Obinna.
All right, thank you very much. Good evening, and good evening, listeners.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it says a lot about the failure of law enforcement in Nigeria. That people do not have confidence in law enforcement and the justice system. So the jungle justice we have in the country is it's an indictment on the law enforcement and the justice system in Nigeria.
Why do you think that it has become a norm for us to, especially from where I stand, that the moment somebody says, this person is a thief, nobody's investigating. The next thing everybody's looking for is a stick, tire. At some point, it used to be we burning them alive. Now we beat them to a pulp, play music for them, and then video them while they dance. I mean, we see the most incredible things on social media. Why do you think it has become so normal for us?
Yes, it's become so normal. Remember, I talked about lack of confidence in the system. Nigerians do not have confidence in the law enforcement, and in most cases, when a suspect is taken to, let me say, police, which is the number one law enforcement in the country, then this issue of bribery and the corruption in the system makes people not to have confidence. They always believe that once they go there, they will take money from them and they release them. So an average Nigerian believes that he's not getting that justice from law enforcement agencies. So they decide to do it themselves.
Let me come to you, Mr. Hashim. As much as, like I said, it has somewhat come to stay, even though for a lot of us it seems very outlandish, but it happens every other day. We have been dealing with the story of a young man who was killed in cold blood, his head chopped off somewhere in the outskirts of Abuja just December this year. He didn't look like a thief. He didn't look like he was with a motorcycle, but he was killed in cold blood, stabbed many times. And there were bystanders who couldn't stop this mob crowd. What does that say about us as Nigerians to start with? Let's leave law enforcement out of it. What does that say about are we cold-blooded people? I mean, because look at what happened, and really there was no one to save him.
Yeah, I think fundamentally it is an issue that borders around a dangerous trend that is actually frustrating people because of the rise in crime. So people are frustrated, they are afraid, and then of course they have been pushed to a point where the only thing that seems possible is actually using what is available, and then of course they resort to using this mob violence as the weapon that is available. And it will be interesting to know that there is an average of 55% on an annual basis, even though that data is actually very conservative. But again, there is a report that says over 555 persons in the last few years had actually fallen into issue of mob violence. So, but again, it is actually beyond the trust deficit in our criminal justice system. It has to do fundamentally with a lot of misinformation, disinformation, and then of course malinformation. That in itself has a lot of bad consequences that it has around what we see. But again, there is also the dangerous dimension to the issue of mob violence, and that is the cultural, ethnic, and religious dimension that had also been introduced to it. I'm sure you must have read about Deborah in Sokoto, how that happened. We must have read instances of a particular woman also in Cuba. There were a lot of instances of people, even in Kano, people who, for purposes of making or perceived, or somebody just said you have actually made some statement that is resorted or that is assumed to be blasphemous, and then of course there is a mob violence, and then of course the person is killed, and it comes with different dimensions. And of course we saw what happened in Edo State at the tail of last year, and that in itself is one big and this tells us very clearly the level of frustration that is actually resident amongst people, and that Nigerians are actually looking for some sort of alternative beyond the extant legal system that they found to be very slow, that they found to be very weak, that they found to be very transactional. And they want to find something that offers them some sort of respite. And to them, it is a case of, well, one down. I mean, that means it is a way of communicating to the underworld that there is zero tolerance for these kinds of action. But in itself, like you said in your intro, there had been a lot of innocent persons who are falling victim to this obnoxious or activity that is happening within the system. And this, again, is a result of the pressure that has come on citizens because, again, government has failed in providing what security and protection should look like. So they find that the only thing that is therefore available to them is to step in and offer that stopgap measure. But unfortunately, it doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it legitimate. It doesn't make it structural for citizens to engage in that sort of self-help. Because again, whatever you do, it's actually self-help. So there is social-cultural triggers that has also provided this sort of rise and spike that we have seen, which I think requires some element of quick responses, not only from us as a people, but again, government providing that sort of safeguard for this to happen.
If I heard Obinna very well, he talked about lack of trust in law enforcement, which is a major driver He talked about, this fueling the distrust, corruption, delayed justice, weak investigation, selective enforcement. These are issues that we're facing on every front, whether it's political, it's human. I mean, this is where do we start in addressing this? Because if you say, okay, well, let's stop and investigate before we do anything, hand them over to the police. How do you make sure that justice is served? People have been raped to death, and those people were given a slap on the wrist. Obviously, this is one of the major drivers of these kinds of actions. So where do we start? As someone who is in a civil society advocate for, peaceful resolutions and dealing with these things, in the from the legitimate perspective, where do we start from?
All right. I think even as little, okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much. One other problem is the lack of knowledge about the rights of others. So on where to start, there is need to create awareness. Citizens have to know that the rights of fellow citizens. Then we'll talk about the need to reform the police and the other law enforcement agencies. Remember, we had NSAS in 2020.
2020, yes.
Part of the 2020, and the issues that Nigerians raised during the NSAS protests are yet to be resolved. And these are part of the thing that make citizens not to have that confidence in the police and other law enforcement agencies. So, for instance, there is need for us to reform the police. There is need for us to reform the judiciary, make it in such a way that citizens will know that, yes, when we approach the law enforcement agencies, when we approach the courts, we'll get justice. So for me, that's one area. Then the issue of raising awareness. People have to know that there is rights, that other citizens have their rights, that jungle justice is not the way, it's not the best approach. We are no longer in the state of nature. So we should follow things the way they should, go through the courts, follow the judicial process to getting justice.
Salaudeen, you want to add something?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say that as little as accusation for witchcraft or suspicion of rituals, also all of these very minor cultural practice that we notice, people get killed for them. But again, just to add to what my colleague just said, is that we need an anti-mob action legislation, which we don't have. We need an anti-mob action legislation that will be able to provide stiff penalties for people who get engaged, whether it is for blasphemy, whether it is for witchcraft, whether it is for ritual, whatever it is. You need a law that guides it. So we don't have a specific law that actually speaks to the issue of anti-mob violence, and this in itself is now giving perpetrators some escape route together. And if you look at the Irumi cases, just like you mentioned in your intro, 16 persons were suspected to be bandits. Unfortunately, they were hunters, and then of course they all died. And then, of course, as it stands now, there's no white paper that suggests that this is so. I'm sure community kind of settlement would have happened, and these guys would have gone about their normal businesses. Those who are dead, and then of course you are allowing those kind of reoccurrence to happen when you don't deal with it. I think that is one. Two is that we need to strengthen our criminal justice system, from the police to the courts to the correctional centers and the entire stakeholders within that value chain. We need to provide this semblance of sanity where people believe that justice will be served. And then, of course, this issue of delay, it shouldn't also be the case, because people get frustrated over time the moment they realize that there is nothing that is moving, and of course suspicions of whether or not somebody had taken funds off, and this in itself always creates some additional pie alongside the social economic pressure that people already have. That for me would be some of additional, and civic education is very important. We need to also educate people to realize, and of course platform like yours, what you are doing currently is civic education, letting people realize that it is not the best way to go, and there are consequences. That whoever gets involved in this kind of act, rightly or wrongly, would face the law. So this kind of civic education and programming like this, citizens to be able to get more aware of the dangers that is associated with those kinds of acts.
I want to, play out a scenario. For example, put myself in the shoes of some of the people who make up the mob. For example, my sister was raped and killed. The murderer was allowed to go. And then one day we hear that a pedophile was caught, trying to defile a child. And I'm joining them to beat him because my sister died. Nothing came out of it. So I will beat this person. I don't care. At least when I beat this person and this person dies, they will know not to do it again, because I don't trust the courts. The judges are corrupt. I don't trust the police because they're not beating the allegations anytime soon. And we live in a state where if you have money, your case might get to, a great conclusion. If you don't have money, poor man no get God. This is the scenario that's playing in somebody's mind, or the average person who picks up a stick to hit someone. What story are you particularly going to tell them? Because every day I'm on the radio talking about the high level of corruption in government, and that politicians are not prioritizing the welfare of the average person. What story am I supposed to feed that person? I'll let you guys take turns to help me, tell that story, really. Obinna, do you want to go first?
Okay. Yes, what just played out here is a kind of transfer aggression and the loss of interest in the system. Just as you rightly stated, the person knows that the person doesn't believe that the system can take care of the problem. So there's no need to choose to take the law into themselves. So what, for me, I think more Nigerians should be advocates calling for government to reform these systems. Because without the system, we cannot really have the kind of country we deserve. We cannot solve this problem. Just as the case of Deborah, he pointed out, because the people were not punished. The people were not punished. So any person that finds him or herself in such a situation next time will believe that there's no need waiting for the government or the law enforcement agencies to do. So people would just prefer to take the laws into their hands. So for me, I think more Nigerians should add their voices in calling for reform of our systems, judicial system and the police.
Salaudeen, the same people that were asking because you see the reforms, you and I cannot in any way effect those reforms. There are members representing us from different constituencies and senatorial districts who we hope would, again, prioritize us when they are faced with these reforms, or people are lobbying for certain things to be imputed into the new laws that because we keep revisiting the constitution and checking it. But again, we still don't trust those people because they've not showed, or they've not been seen to do anything that prioritizes us. So is this a lost cause, or is there any need to hold out hope?
Well, behind every mob violence that you see, there are deep-rooted anger, emotions behind them, and some of them are actually driven by some sort of ideology. And of course, still referencing Deborah's case, you recall that one very big political gladiator made a tweet to condemn it, and a few days later I pulled down that tweet. So that gives you some sort of political underleaning that suggests that selectively some people support it when it is related to specific issues. So that again intersects with my response to you to say that yes, there are hope, particularly because we have extant laws. But again, the political actors, those who are within the corridor.
Oh dear. Salaudeen, I think that
where powers are made, the moment they start opportunities are there that will have some level of challenge and setback, and they are setting us back with those selective appropriate responses that they provide.
Do you think that by any chance, and you just have 30 seconds before we go on a break, that our National Assembly, our lawmakers, those who lead us, would do anything to change the way that we perceive them?
Okay.
Well, I think the issue of accountability is an oversight. It's their responsibility to act. And I think it is for them to really be able to get people to see them differently. And that happens consistently by actions, behavior, character, and how they're able to manage their image before the citizens.
Take a quick break. When I come back, Obinna, I'll still ask you the same question. And I'll tell you why I'm asking this question. Because as much as we know that this is a campaign season, should this be the best time that we milk them and squeeze them? Because if we don't make them, maybe they would not care. Again, these things may never get to them or their children. We're the ones who suffer it. But Lagos, let's go for a quick break. When we come back, we're still discussing jungle justice and the way forward. Stay with us.
More news and information coming up. We'll be back in a moment.
Introducing So Clean Pink Detergent, Nigeria's first pink detergent innovation, specially formulated to make your clothes look and smell amazing. It's with 2 times perfume, so every wash releases a burst of long-lasting fragrance. It's soft on clothes with color guard that leaves your colored clothes vibrant and bright. So Clean Pink delivers great cleaning while treating your fabrics to a touch of luxury. Feel the pink with So Clean, the #1 pink detergent.
Lagos, get ready! Something new has arrived in Ikoyi. Introducing the brand new Moneyfield head office, now open at number 105 Awolowo Road, Ikoyi. A modern banking space designed just for you. Faster service, smarter banking, and a team committed to helping you grow.
At Moneyfield, we provide a full range of financial solutions to support individuals, SMEs, and growing businesses. Our services include savings and investment products, personal and business loans, virtual accounts, salary and SME loans, cards, USSD, dialing *5684# to transact, and many more.
Visit us today at number 105 Awolowo Road, Ikoyi, and experience banking built on trust, innovation, and excellence. Or visit any of our 6 branches in Idumota, Onikan, Trade Fair, Oshodi Shopping Complex, Yaba, and Ijora.
Moneyfield Microfinance Bank. You are in good hands.
Hey there, mums and dads. Did you know that some children are picky eaters and also do not get enough fruits and vegetables from their diet? Well Kid Baby and Infant Syrup is a food supplement from Vitabiotics that contains 14 vitamins and minerals, including vitamin C and zinc, as well as flaxseed oil, which supports brain development and all-round health. Well Kid Baby and Infant Tasty Syrup is for children 3 months to 5 years of age. Give your young ones a good start with Well Kid Baby and Infant from Vitabiotics UK. Available in pharmacies near you.
Introducing So Clean Pink Detergent, Nigeria's first pink detergent innovation, specially formulated to make your clothes look and smell amazing. It's with 2 times perfume, so every wash releases a burst of long-lasting fragrance. It's soft on clothes with color guard that leaves your colored clothes vibrant and bright. So Clean Pink delivers great cleaning while treating your fabrics to a touch of luxury. Feel the pink with So Clean, the #1 pink detergent.
AfriMillions 1 billion naira jackpot up for grabs every single week. There are lots of other amazing prizes. The first draw is Saturday, 31st January at 8 p.m. on Wazobia TV. So hurry and get them soon. Visit AfriMillions.ng to play now. Create your account and come pick your 6 lucky numbers from 1 to 49. Each ticket costs just 1,000 naira. AfriMillions, we win together. Players must be 18 plus. Licensed by the Lagos State Lottery and Gaming Authority. Terms and conditions apply.
There's so much more to enjoy when you fly in Emirates Economy. More legroom, delicious regionally inspired meals, complimentary free-flowing drinks, and the latest movies, TV shows, music, and live sport. Some of the best entertainment in the skies. And our family services make your journey simple and fun. Plan your next trip and start the holiday early in Emirates Economy. Fly Emirates, fly better.
Attention secondary schools, the countdown is on for the I Beg to Differ Secondary Schools Debate Season 9 audition. And here's Here's the big news. The registration deadline has been extended to January 25th, 2026. Do you think your students have what it takes to speak up, stand out, and debate brilliantly? Then register now for the live auditions by visiting nigeriainfo.fm. All schools that have successfully submitted their registration online are expected to attend the live audition happening on Saturday, January 31st, 2026. Venue, Nigeria Info Studios, 267A, Etimian Crescent, Victoria Island, Lagos. Audition begin 10 a.m. prompt on Saturday, January 31st, 2026. Don't miss this opportunity to let your student voices be heard. Register now at nigeriainfo.fm. For sponsorship inquiries, send an email to info@nigeriainfo.fm. I beg to differ. The Tournament of Champions.
From Saturday, the 31st of January at 8 p.m., 1 billion naira is up for grabs every single week. Buy your tickets now before sales close. Go to afrimillions.ng, pick your lucky numbers, and play for just 1,000 naira. There are lots of other amazing prizes. Catch the live draw every Saturday at 8 p.m. on Wazobia TV, with repeats on Wazobia FM, Cool FM, and Nigeria Info. Afri Millions, we win together. Licensed by the Lagos State Lottery and Gaming Authority. Terms and conditions apply.
Everybody confirm I'm the correct remedy for headache. Medic 5 now.
My name na Odunlade Adekola, and I be better hustler. From morning till night, na back to back. Work, traffic, noise. Sometimes it be like say your head go bust. What's that headache show? I go straight for Medic 5. With Medic 5, I did Medic my headache. For headache,
use Medic 5.
If your body no tranga after 3 days, go see your doctor.
Every meal I cook must taste just right. Rich, delicious, full of love.
We hear you. Your Maggie Star in double cubes, double the flavor, double the convenience. The same trusted taste you love. Maggie Star Double Cubes, made from fermented soya and other selected ingredients for that deep flavor and quality that only Maggie brings to your dishes.
Absolutely delicious.
Get Maggie Double Cubes today. Me and Maggie, so good together.
The heartbeat of radio keeps pumping.
All the trending news and conversation.
In a country that lacks social ambition and prosperity, you will work so hard and still not make it.
After God Almighty, it's money in Nigeria. We don't have government.
Governors from Abia State, in a normal setting, they won't even get one vote.
What of our president? Is he not running this country from our side? But those who give us Nigeria never realize that we are not one.
A man whose job is to protect you and your children is putting the lives of your children on the line.
See, all this issue, education, whatever, everything, we shouldn't leave everything for government to do.
It's so annoying at times when you hear some callers.
Call your father, don't call the government because you like the oppressor.
It's all day and night
with 99.3
Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
This is Hard Facts.
Yes, it is live on Facebook.com/Nigeria Info FM. We're also live on YouTube, Nigeria Info FM. I'm still talking with Obinna, Nwagbara, and Salaudeen Hashim, both civil society advocates, and we are looking at the issue of jungle justice. What is the way forward? How did we get here? We've established that, but where do we go from here is the issue. It looks like we're stuck somewhere in the middle. How do we get our leaders to be the face of anti-mob actions in the country? That's where we're at. And before we went on that break, Salaudeen was trying to explain to us what needs to be done. But Obinna, like I said, the average politician is selfish and cares only for themselves. And most times, the average Nigerian will tell you that most of these things they're pushing it because they have vested interest. Where does our interest come to play? Because maybe I might be wrong. Do we need these politicians to be the ones who are the face of these anti-mob action, campaigns? Maybe that would push them in the right direction.
All right. Thank you very much. When we call for credible elections in Nigeria, we have many reasons, and one of such reasons is the need to have strengthened institutions. Now we have a country where the power holders don't really feel that they are accountable to the citizens. They don't feel that they should be accountable to citizens. So, because in most cases the elections are manipulated, so they believe that their money can do it for them, whether citizens vote for them or not, they will get into power. So there's need for us to prioritize our demands, and every Nigerian should take the need for us to have credible elections as a priority. Every Nigerian should be involved in making sure that the elections, because when we have credible elections and the politicians know that if at the end of the 4-year term that they did not perform well, that the citizen will vote them, but they will sit up. They will sit up. So there's need for us to, every Nigerian should call for credible elections so that everybody will sit up.
Salaudeen, how do we get these politicians on board to be the face, front and center of what we're pushing for in the future? And the future, if you ask me, starts now.
Yeah, I think one of the things that the political class can also help to do is to strengthen oversight with law enforcement agents and, of course, the entire criminal justice system. Yes, I agree that leadership selection process is fundamental. But again, political class will not go and control crowd where there are more violence. Political elites will not go and do emergency response to a situation before a particular suspect is being mobbed. So we need capability and capacity. So law enforcement who have the power to appropriate money for quick response, and then of course emergency response and hotlines where security agencies can respond before a mob action happens. And I think that is very fundamental. It comes with the issue of appropriation, it comes with the issue of monitoring, it comes with the issue of oversight. And it comes with the issue of even recruitment at the point of recruiting law enforcement agents. So recruitment process of any law enforcement must go through due diligence so that you bring in the right people who are passionate about the job, and then of course you equip them with the right infrastructure. I tell you that most law enforcement don't even have basic communication equipment to be able to communicate with control rooms, but for those who are in the front, just in the event that they require backup for situations of emergencies. That is very fundamental. And the issue of capability, you need vehicle to be able to respond. And you need training, training on crowd management, crowd control, how to be able to do proportional deployment of force. Sometimes it is the way law enforcement even handle the scene that actually sometimes rile up the crowd because they don't just come and you just pumping in tear gas. So you need to be able to put in place some kind of proportionality in terms of handling and management and even strategic communication. So we must have political class that will be able to help us oversight, monitor, and effectively report the entire value chain of how our law enforcement actively engage, actively respond, and the kind of appropriation that we give. And I'll give you just one example. If you take security vote, for instance, security votes in this country is bigger than the amount that we give to contemporary security agencies. So my question is that how do you therefore want, and I agree with my colleague who said the issue of election is very critical because no right-thinking chief executive of any country would say, give the political class more security votes and they enjoyed more than the conventional security agencies. So these are some of the deep root causes where we'll see the consequences. So what you see out there as mob violence are actually consequences of some inactions that didn't happen. And then, of course, once they happen, we begin to ask, why did this happen and all that? But again, we can retrace it and begin to do things rightly, equipping our personnel to be very strategic and be very responsive. I think that would be the very first step that we need to take.
Lovely. Lagos, the phone lines are open. Would like to share your thoughts and comments. How do we pledge to join this cause against this mob action? Because today is the guy you think is a thief. Tomorrow it might be you. There will not be an opportunity for you to say or to explain yourself and say, no, I'm not a thief. You look like a thief. Thieves always say they're not thieves, and then of course before you know it, there's petrol, there's a tire on your neck, boom. Let's talk. 0201 277 0993 0201 465 7190. You can join the conversation live on our Facebook and on YouTube. We're live. Post your comments, your questions. You can join the conversation if you're in the diaspora. You want to be part of the conversation on WhatsApp. It's 0809 5975805. Feel free to share your experiences also. Hello.
Hello. Good evening, Maryann.
Good evening.
This is Pastor Ladipo. Good evening to your guest. This issue of jungle justice, can't we start an advocacy either through Nigeria Constitution Agency and start orientating people in different languages about the danger of this jungle justice? Because most of the people that we are trying to reach, some of them don't even listen to radio. Neither do they watch TV. So they can start a campaign, putting up billboards, sharing flyers, doing things that can get to the roots where people can easily learn about the danger of this jungle justice something. Thank you. This is my own opinion.
Thank you, Pastor Ladipo. I appreciate it. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Yes, this is Kenny from Shimolu.
Hi, Kenny.
I'm wanting to hold the legal profession accountable, and I'm calling them up. I say, Nigeria Bar Association, body of benches, clean up your membership, because the role you play in the judiciary is very critical, and Nigerians will want to trust that they can get justice when they have a quintessential legal system. God bless Nigeria. Good job, Maryann.
Thank you very much for calling. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Hello, Maryann. Good evening, brother.
Good evening.
Yeah, it's me, Pastor Emeka.
Go ahead.
Yes, right now, Mimshomole. I think this issue of jungle justice is a serious issue. It's as bad as terrorism, as the case were. One, the government should declare such an act as an act of terrorism. Number two, then the police has a role, because I think I also like what Pastor Ladipo also recommended. The reason is there are in remote places, like what happened in the Abuja incident, no police was around. And the people that mobbed that guy were armed with knife and other things. So the police were not around. So there should be a reprimandable, what do you call it? They should be reprimanded.
Okay.
Let the police, and the lawyer, yes, and what do you call them, and the law, they should work in so that anybody caught in such act should be disciplined. Either the person go to jail or the person will be coming, so that people will learn. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. 0201 277 0993 0201 465 7190. You could join the conversation on our live stream on Facebook and on YouTube. Post your comments. We would like to hear from you. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, good evening. Turn off your radio.
Okay, Maryann. Good afternoon.
Turn off your radio.
I just want to. Yeah, I've done that.
Go ahead.
So what I want to say that the problem we have today is because of a lot of people, they may be arrested and then they hand them over to police. And maybe you have somebody at Abuja that is so influential, and before you give like an incident that I witnessed sometimes ago. I was coming back from Kotunu, and I saw people gathered one close to one bridge. So I asked what was wrong, because the driver stopped. So they told us that they caught a man who walked around like a madman, and then before they know, they took them to a place where they met human parts in their back. So as they were trying to beat the guy, and then because there was a police checking point quite close, they ran to the place and they got him. They got the police. The phone he was having. Before they know, the police came. They said the police came and then seized the phone from them. And then the guy said they should call somebody. And then when they mentioned the name of the person, one of them said, before they start shooting into the air, the people ran away. So you see, and when they went back to the station to ask about the guy, they did not know anything about that guy again. Wow. That was the end of the thing. So why people today wants to make sure they do what they're supposed to have done is because of the thing that is happening in Nigeria today. So we should look into this area also, that you can arrest somebody and then hand them over to a law enforcement officer. Before you know, either you find the person in the street again, or you go back to us. Nobody will know anything about that case again.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for calling. And this is something that we've had back and forth about, Salaudeen and Obinna. The fact that you can name drop, or some big man would call and say, let them go. But then justice is not being seen to have taken its course. So it's a tough one, sincerely. Welcome to Hard Facts.
Yeah, good evening, Maryann. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jonathan is my name.
Go ahead.
Anyway, I just joined in. I hear people talking about jungle justice. Whatever the case may be, there is nothing on this earth would justify anybody taking the soul of anybody. You could be classified as a bandit and as a kidnapper and all those negative qualifications. So whether the justice is correct, police are correct, army are correct, anybody that participates, that have the guts to take a life out of another person, person should be ready to face it too. Whether they are justice or not. If you have the guts, you can open your eye and kill a soul, then you should be ready to go. That's very simple. Enjoy your day, Maryann.
All right, thank you very much for calling. There are those who will say 2020 was basically for issues such as this. The protest of 2020 was to address issues like this. I think front burner issues like police reforms, etc., etc. Where are we when it comes to those things? Your civil rights movement officials, where are we on this issue of police reforms? And because they tell you that the average policeman buys his shoe, his beret, his uniform, and half the time his take-home pay doesn't take him past the junction of the office. So really, have we been able to go anywhere with this issue of police reforms, gentlemen? Obinna, do you want to go?
Okay. The issues that led to answers are still here with us, and that shows a lack of interest by the political class. Now, one of the demands was the need to provide for the welfare and operational needs of the police. Today, just as you rightly stated, you see the police we see on the road, especially those of them on the road. You see their dressing, you see their welfare. They are nothing to talk right home about. So there is need, because we would say that police should do this, law enforcement should do this. We owe them that duty too, as citizens, to keep demanding that they should be provided for. Because somebody did not provide for, you can't really hold that person accountable. Our police should be taken good care of. Law enforcement agencies should be taken good care of so that they will be able to take care of us. Now, you said that the primary duty of government is to provide for the welfare and security of citizens. Now, the people that are to protect our own security are not taking care of their welfare. So how are they going to perform very well? The need for us, Nigeria should prioritize, the government should prioritize providing for the police so that they will do their work effectively. Thank you.
Salaudeen, I spoke with a retired commissioner of police who said that he is of the opinion that we totally discard the act that brought the police into force, that the police was, in his words, created to oppress the people, and that if we do not do away with the idea behind the creation of the Nigeria Police Force, we may never be able to get round to, police reforms. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, the original design of the police was actually the idea of the colonialists to use them against citizens, and that idea has actually gone on for a long time. But of course, very recently, the 45-year-old act was actually set aside, and we have a new police act, and that for us is actually the best way to go. But the concern that I have is that you have a new police Police Act, but you have an old regulation that you also need to deal with. So it is like driving a new car with old tires. So it is actually not going to take it too far if you don't put in those regulations, because the regulation will deal with those internal, operational, administrative setbacks that we have mentioned, to be able to put and set up the police to the modern, right-based, professional, and have the optics to be able to respond efficiently. But again, the problem that police has is actually very structural. Until you deal with those structural issues, you may not be able to get the modern policing infrastructure that we so desire. And of course, policing has gone beyond what we used to know. It has actually gone past that. A lot of our personnel today suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. That is why you see them behave from the way they do. A number of them, where they sleep is not even habitable, but again, that is what they do. Most of the police training school, police colleges, where the children of police are supposed to go at discounted rate, their children cannot even afford anymore. Children of civilians dominate over 70% of police schools, primary school, nursery school. The police children are not able to go. You find most elites, middle class, that is where they actually send their wards to. And what does that tell us? That over a period of time, we have abandoned that personnel that actually signed up to actually serve his own country under some specific codes. So we have abandoned him, and therefore he also now needs to find an alternative. So it is in actually the recourse to find that alternative that they resort into some of these hobnobbing with crime just to cover it up. But again, we have that new act, but we need a new regulation. And then, of course, we need to also look at the issue of the salary structure, pension. You recall recently that the retired officers had also protested. And now the consequence with that is that those who are currently serving and see their colleagues who have retired suffering those kind of injustice. What is the communication to them is that they don't want to also look like those guys who are currently protesting because they are retired and they are suffering. So they will have to abuse the system at the moment to be able to safeguard themselves from those kind of situations in the future. That therefore would mean that a lot of issues will go into it. And unfortunately, that is not the kind of situation we want to see. But most importantly, there has been some progress with our reforming system.
Okay. I can take one last call before I let these nice gentlemen go. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Good evening, Maryann.
Yes.
My name is Ambrose. The scenario that happened some years ago in Sokoto, where somebody was stoned to death, is that not jungle justice? And we know that it was wrong, but we learned that some lawyers came out to defend the people, even though they knew who they were. So my question now is, is jungle justice a kind of, how do I put it now, is it discriminatory? Because we are against jungle justice, but we have even seen cases where these people did these things openly. And at the end of the day, the culprits, they went. Nothing happened to them. So how do we define that? Or what do we say concerning that?
All right.
Thank you.
Obinna, in closing.
All right. Thank you very much. Jungle justice is a threat to safety, justice, and rule of law. And for me, addressing it is one thing that requires a faceted approach. We need to strengthen the institutions, engage communities, and improve information integrity. It's something that all of us, all hands must be on deck. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And Salaudeen, the hope is that we must start now so that the young ones who are coming, who are watching us, know the right things to do as opposed to normalizing it as we have, right? In closing.
So we need to impose stiff penalties to prevent future reoccurrence or incidents. And that therefore means that we need urgently an anti-mob violence legislation. That for me would be my message to those in political offices.
Salaudeen Hashim is the Programs Director of Clean Foundation. Obinna Nwagbara is the Executive Director, Youth and Students Advocate for Development Initiative, YSAD. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for adding your voices to this conversation. Hopefully, the rightful authorities will take this up, and every other Nigerian will take this up as a mandate of sorts to push against mob action and jungle justice. Thank you so much for joining the conversation. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, Lagos, this is where we draw the curtains on the show today. We want to thank you all for being part of the conversation. The news comes up at the top of the hour, but this is where I duff my heart and say good night. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads, MIMIEYO, or just search for Maryann Okon everywhere else. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Millions of listeners trust us on
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.